Welcome to Hidden Hilltop Homestead. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I'm going to be working on a few different projects here over the next couple days. So let's see how far we can get and how many quilts we can actually get done this week. My goal is 2. We'll see. I'm currently in progress with 2 of them. So right now I'm working on this Crown Royal quilt and I'm turning these bags into quilt squares. So I'm just cutting the bags and creating a beautiful little 6-inch square, and I'm going to pair this with other cotton quilting fabric and make some kind of design. I'm not really sure what I'm doing yet, but we're just kind of seeing how we go here. This is my last special order for right now. I'm all cut up after I finished this blanket, so from here on out it's going to be projects that I have planned, and I'm excited for that. It gives me a little bit more creative freedom, but I'm also open to more special orders as well. So if something comes in, I will put my projects on the back burner to get it done. But until then, we're going to be working on some fall stuff. I have a tie-dye blanket I'm interested in, and then the other blanket that I'm working on and I'm almost done with is a fishing theme, so that's exciting. Now today is Sunday and I'm planning on working as much as I can between now and Saturday. I have a few days off of work this week, but I do have other things going on. So while quilting is not going to be top priority, I am going to have a lot more time to do it. So hopefully we can make some serious progress on these blankets. So without further ado, let's get some work done. Okay, so I got 48 squares done for the bags. Now I'm just going to cut out my additional squares out of this cotton quilting fabric. And then I have my back already cut as well and my batting. So I have 144 back pieces and 144 batting, and I'm just going to fill in what I need for the front, and then we're going to start piecing these together. These are actually going to look really cool. I'm very excited to keep that fringe on the front and let you know, so you can tell it was a bag, obviously. But this is different, very different than anything I've done yet. And one thing about these bags is they're not all the same material. Some of them are like a polyester blend. Some of them are like a cotton or like a cotton poly blend. So like they all have a little bit different texture. The embroidery is a little bit different too. How they sit, where the embroidery sits on the bag is different. So some of them are going to be a little bit lower, some of them are higher. But anyways, we're going to get all of this stuff pieced and then we'll move on to possibly quilting it, but maybe not today. We might work on another project. Alright, we got all of our sandwiches pinned, so that's 144 sandwiches we got here. So I'm not quilting these quite yet. I'm actually going to work on this other blanket I got, and maybe we'll get that done tonight. So let's move on. This is a fishing blanket that I'm working on, and I have the first half of it completed. This is the second half I'm working on. I'm putting the squares together to create the rows, and then we'll sew the rows together. Now I'm just cutting the trim and snipping off all of the loose thread on both ends, and we're going to do this a million more times. So this is row 7 through 10. We got 2 rows left to do. Alright, so we have row 7 through 12 here, And then we have 1 through 6 done. I like to do my blankets in 2 different halves and then sew them together so that I'm not working with one big piece on the machine at once. So we're going to put this together tonight, and then we're going to call it a night because I have been at this table for a very long time today and I'm ready to go to bed. So I just sewed the top to the bottom, and I went ahead and did all of the finishing for around the edges. So I just do a 1/2 inch seam allowance and sew all the way around the outside of the blanket. And now I'm cutting all of the fringe pieces so that I can have this ready for tomorrow, and I'll probably wash it tomorrow and maybe even get it listed. Okay, the fishing blanket is done for the night. It is ready to go in the washer tomorrow. I'm going to throw this in with some of my regular detergent, and then I'm going to put a couple sheets of color catcher on it, and then I will dry it. And then after that, I lint roll, I do my pictures, and I list it for sale. And then tomorrow I'm also going to start working on quilting those squares and some other stuff. So we're calling it for tonight. I'm going to bed. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hey guys, it's Monday. I actually decided to do a Joann's run. It's raining and stuff was on sale, so I decided to come. I ordered and did an online pickup for some batting, and then I also got some quilt backing fabric and some quilting fabric, so I will do a little haul when we get back to the house and show you what I got. But let's go home and make some blankets. First thing I'm going to do is get this blanket in the wash. These are the color catcher sheets, and I'm going to wash this on a cool setting with my regular detergent, and then I will put it in the dryer and dry it until it's completely dry. Dry, right? Okay, so let's do that, and I'll show you the finished product. Here is our completely dry fishing themed quilt. The finished size on this is 60 inches by 60 inches, so it's definitely an oversized throw. I love it. I love that coral, the pop of color, the blues look great. There's fishing, and then there's a lot of filler on here too, so it's not just specifically all fish, but I love it. I think it looks great. So for our Joann's haul, I got 4 yards of batting. That's the king size batting, and then I got some quilting cottons, and then I got these flannel backings. So this is 3.5 yards each, a really pretty like pumpkin orange and a gray. So cotton quilting, I got this burlap sack looking stuff. It's great for fall. This is another one that's going to be fall and Halloween, just some florals. And then this is just another fall or Halloween, some really pretty green filler. I got these really cool vintage cats, definitely going on my Halloween blanket because these are just too freaking cute. And then these mushrooms are just awesome. I love mushrooms on everything. And then I got some batik that actually has a grain print in it, so that's going to be great for fall or Halloween. So I just got done taking pictures of this quilt to list on Facebook. I just kind of wanted to show you how I have it laid out here. This is our California king size bed. We lay it out, we lint roll. I still need to lint roll a little bit on the back. And then we package it up. So this is what I put it in. It's just a poly bag, and this just keeps it nice and clean and dust free until I sell it. Okay, we're gonna finally get into some sewing today. So I'm gonna start quilting all of these black squares. I'm going to try to get all of that done today, and then I'll see how much time I have left to work on other stuff. So let's get these guys quilted so we can start putting the blanket together. So I was a little bit worried about these bag squares sewing across the embroidery, but you cannot even tell that I put black thread over it. You can just barely see it, and it actually looks really nice. It lays nicely. I like the way it looks, so we're just going to continue and do the X's for all of the bag squares, and then do the other ones the same way. Alright, so we're wrapping up day 2 here. We have some of these done, some of them are not. So I'm going to finish quilting all of these tomorrow, get all the X's done, and then we'll maybe assembly tomorrow if I have time. If not, that will be a Wednesday thing. But anyways, I'm going to work on just a few more of these and then I'm going to bed, so I'll see you tomorrow. Alright, it's Tuesday morning. I'm on my way to drop off this blanket for a customer, and then I'll see you back at the house and we'll do some more sewing. So now I'm just going to work on the quilting of all of the black squares with the Crown Royal quilt and get this done today. I do have to work this evening, so I'm not going to have a whole lot of time to work on this, but I am going to try to get all of the quilting done so that we can assemble. If not later tonight, we can do it tomorrow. Alright, we got all of the cotton quilting squares done tonight. All of the crown bags are done, so everything has been quilted. Now we can move on to assembly, which I will be doing that tomorrow morning. We're calling it for tonight, so it's the end of Tuesday. Tomorrow I will see you in the morning. Happy Wednesday. We're in the bedroom this morning getting ready to assemble the Crown Royal quilt. We're going to lay out a design, see how we like it. I got my husband helping me. So let's get into this. Alright, so we laid this out in a sporadic way, and I don't really like it. It looks like we're trying to do diagonal with the crown bags, but it didn't work out. So we're going to redo it with diagonals and see how that looks. This looks a million times better. I love this. I love that it's still like a sporadic outlay, but the stripes are in there from the bags. I really like this. I think it looks really good. Awesome. Absolutely love it. Alright, so I'm going to put these rows together and mark everything so that when I'm ready to start sewing, I can zip right through this and get this blanket done. So I'm actually moving on to something else first thing. We just got the blanket put together, the Crown Royal blanket put together design wise. So now I'm working on this tie-dye quilt, and what I'm basically doing is cutting out 144 squares of white cotton quilting fabric for the front, and then 144 the same thing for the back, and I'm doing a cotton batting in the middle just per usual. I'm making a throw sized quilt, and it's going to be completely white, and then I'm going to be tie-dyeing this. So I bought a tie-dye kit from Joann's, and I'm basically going to make, assemble, and sew the quilt, and then instead of washing it, I'm going to just soak it in a bucket of water, and then I'm going to wring it out and tie-dye it, and then I'll wash it after we get all of the ink out from the tie-dye. So this is going to be super simple. I'm doing 144 of the same sandwiches, and I'm just going to layer everything up correctly and pin it. I'm not probably going to quilt today. I'm probably just going to work on getting everything cut and then possibly work on the crown blanket when I'm done with this. So I will check back to you once I have cut out an absurd amount of squares. Alright, I have finished and pinned all of my squares for the tie-dye blanket, and then I have all of the rows arranged for the crown quilt. So we're going to start sewing on this next. Alright, just finished row number 1 of the crown quilt. I think it looks so pretty. I love that gold foil mixed in with the black, and then I have some like gold polka dots, gold shimmer. There's all kinds of cool stuff happening with this. Chloe is on quality control, so we're just going to keep sewing. So everything's looking good. The fringe is working out great. The accent from the bags is showing through like I want it to, so looks good. This is row 1 and 2. I'm going to keep going. I actually flubbed on the end and I sewed that last square upside down, so I'm going to take this apart, fix that, and I'm going to keep going and see how many rows I can add on tonight. Alright, so I made it to row 5. And I'm going to call it for tonight. It's looking really good. The design's coming through great. The stripes are looking amazing. I actually laid everything back out before I started sewing it together just to make sure we didn't have any repetitive stuff, and it looks good. So we are wrapping up for tonight. I will see you tomorrow for day number 5. Alright, it is Thursday. Today is going to be an incredibly short day. I have a lot of stuff I need to get done that is not quilting related. So I'm probably only going to have time to maybe get 2 rows done, if that. Then we got to go to town and get some stuff done, and then we have plans later. And then tomorrow I'm probably not going to have time at all to sew. We have, again, a lot of stuff going on. Saturday, however, I will be home. So I probably won't see you tomorrow. This will probably be my only check-in for today. So if I don't do anything else, I will see you on Saturday. But as of right now, let's get some sewing done. Alright guys, it is Saturday. It is the last day of our How Many Quilts in a Week challenge, and I am sad to report that we're only going to be wrapping up 1. I only was able to get 1 more row done on that crown quilt, and I'm actually taking a break. Instead of going through burnout and not doing anything, I decided to go through my fabric stash and try to pick out some designs for a couple more quilts. So right now I'm in the spooky mood. I want to do a Halloween quilt. I want to do a couple fall quilts. So I'm just going to go through everything I have, pull out everything spooky, fall related, see what we got, and see what kind of color palette I can make. And probably even cut some squares, just because I am a little burnout on sewing. So we're going to find some more fun stuff like this cool black fabric and throw together some cute designs. So I've been making quilts for probably a couple years. I used to attempt to make normal quilts, and I never really got farther than just making a quilt top. I have made a couple baby blanket quilts in the past, but when I got into rag quilts 2 years ago, I really developed a passion for them, and this time last year I actually started selling my quilts. So I made a few as gifts, and then I ended up making one that I kept. And then last fall, I made some Halloween and fall themed blankets, and that's when I started selling them. And then I started getting orders, and that's just kind of where I'm at today. I'm usually making special orders and then filling them around that with projects that I want to make myself. So I think picking the fabric, shopping for fabric's definitely probably one of the best parts, but then pulling fabric out and actually building a color palette for a quilt is probably my favorite part of the whole process, other than seeing somebody actually get their quilt. So this is a very relaxing and enjoyable part of the process for me, which is why I'm doing this as opposed to actually sewing something that I need to sew, which is totally fine. To avoid burnout, I do like to switch it up. I like to do different things. I like to kind of let my creativity take over a little bit. That way I'm not just sitting around doing absolutely no work. At least I'm doing something productive, even if I'm not actually sewing. So I have a few ideas in mind, and I've had this Halloween fabric for a while. It's very kitschy. Not something that I would honestly incorporate in a quilt, but I feel like I need to use it. So we're going to put it on the pile. We're going to go through what we have and see if we can color match some of the orange and the yellow with something else, because I feel like that will make that blend better into a quilt, and hopefully we'll have some other stuff in here that we can use as filler. So I'm actually going through some of my pre-cuts. These are chunks of fabric that I've cut into 6-inch squares, And some of this is left over from last year. So I do have a little bit of Halloween stuff left. I have some bats, stripes, candy corn, and then I have a cute cat in pumpkin print. It's like a fuzzy little black cat. It's super cute. I love it. So I'm going to incorporate that into something, get those used up, and then I'm going to go through here and see if I have anything else. I don't think I do, but it doesn't hurt to double check. See, glad I looked, because I do have more stuff. Bats and then some tarot cards. So we'll throw that on the pile and see if we got anything else. Okay, so here is our Halloween palette. Now looking at this, I'm seeing probably at least 2 blankets, because we have like some cutesy stuff, some cartoony stuff, and then we have more like the darker side, a little bit more realistic, skulls, witchy looking stuff. So I think that kind of stuff could probably all go together, and then more of the like cutesy vintage Halloween, kitschy Halloween stuff can go together. I have a lot of filler fabric I can put in with that as well. So let's cut some squares. I pulled a couple other fabrics to kind of like do fall and Halloween stuff at the same time. So I'm going to do like some mushrooms and some more flowers and pumpkins and things as like filler around some of the Halloween, and then I'm also going to just do like this stuff with the fall blankets. So I'm just going to cut a bunch of squares and I'll show you what I got at the end. Alright, first draft of our Halloween palette, I guess you could say. We have some teal, pumpkins, we got our bats, florals, we have this vintage Halloween costume print. I really like that. I have some blues and some fall leaves. We have that batik that looks like grain. That one's really cool. We have our funky mushrooms, another teal sunflower, fallish, black moon and stars. This is the one I was questionable about, but I think the yellow and the orange from other stuff will tie it in. We have the frogs and all that stuff. Vintage cat. This is like vintage, just Halloween print. Stripes and candy corn. So there is glitter in some of these. I think that'll also tie together well. Looking at it from here, I'm like, I'm not quite sure because of the blues and the teals, but I feel like having the multitude of bright colors along with the blues will help tie everything together. At least that's my thought. So I'm just gonna probably try to lay these out and see how I feel about them actually laid out together in blocks, and then make the decision on if I want to swap some stuff out, because I might just swap out that checkered pattern for just like an orange block, but I don't know. So we'll play around with this a little bit and then cut some other stuff for fall blankets. Chloe wanted to stop by and say hi. She also said to subscribe if you want to see more quilting content, because she's like so into being on the camera and we can't disappoint Chloe. So if you are interested in seeing future projects, definitely subscribe and we'll have Chloe on as much as I possibly can. But right now, you need to move, sister, so that I can show everybody the fabric. So this palette's a little more in the safety zone. We got mushrooms, we have just like nice little fillers, we got florals, there's a little bit of pop of color, but it's not too crazy. It's all pretty cohesive. There's at least 2 blankets worth of fabric here, so I'll definitely be including some stuff in one and omitting it out of the other, just so I have different enough palettes. But there's a nice combination of soft colors and just some bright pops. So, and I think throwing in the pumpkins and the sunflowers and everything is just going to pull it all together. Mushrooms are very in right now, so definitely including those. So for my last task on my very last day of the week, I'm going to be cutting up the rest of this fabric, getting my 6-inch squares made, and then I'm going to do a little bit of sorting and pull together some backing fabric with it as well, and I can give you guys a little preview of some quilt palettes. I'm probably going to work up about 3, and then we're going to call it for the week and see how many in the works quilts we can make in a week, even if we don't finish them. Alright, so the name of the game is to use what we got. So we have all of these squares cut. This is my Halloween fabric. We got the bright colors, we got the orange and the yellow, decided to keep them for now, all the way back to the vintage print. And the cat and the bugs and everything, and I'm going to put those with this light gray that I have. Ideally I would use black, I just don't have any black, so I'm going to be doing gray because I feel like that's the best option. Next up, we have all these pretty fall fabrics that did a nice combination of mushrooms, florals, and fillers. And I think this one is a very muted, very foresty vibe, even though it's got a little bit of blue and yellow in it. So this one I'm pairing with that pumpkin orange backing. And then this is the other one. It's going to have pretty much the same thing. It's just different patterns. It's going to have the brown mushroom, and I'm thinking either a tan or green with this, which I'm going to pull those and see what looks best. Alright, so I have this, like, I would call it a dusty pink, and I flipped the pile over because I do have a little bit of orange in here. It very much matches the stems on this mushroom, but I don't know how I feel about it with the orange or some of the blues. I feel like it makes it look more pink than brown. It's actually supposed to be like a light cocoa, but it looks like dirty, dusty pink when it's up against this stuff. So I'm not really sure if I'm gonna go with that one. This is the other one I had, but it's actually even lighter. They're very like beigey brown, but they just look very pink compared to the orange. So if I was to go with one, it'd be the darker one, but I don't think these are a good choice for this. So we're going to see how it looks against the green. Yeah, I definitely way prefer the green. There's a lot of green in the fabric that I'm using and a lot of like earthy tones, and I feel like that's just going to look really good with the green. And that orange is going to pop with it too, so definitely the way to go. If I were to go out and buy batting, I would probably do brown with this. Not batting, backing, sorry. I would do brown for the back of this one. I would keep the orange for the other one, and I'd probably do black for the Halloween, but I'm just using what I already have, trying to go through my stock versus buying new stuff. So that's what we're going to go with. Well guys, our video is coming to an end. I want to thank you so much if you made it this far for watching this. As a recap, we were able to complete one quilt. We have the crown quilt almost done. We have the tie-dye one left to quilt and assemble. And then we made 3 palettes to work with for 2 fall quilts and a Halloween quilt. So thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in more quilting content, definitely subscribe, like this video. Tell me what you're interested to see in the comments. I only am currently doing rag quilt content. I might branch out into regular quilting in the future, but this is what we got. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. I'm going to get all this fabric sorted and put away back into my organized boxes.